running, can't seem to focus. In the corner of my best friend's sofa, you were getting by some rum and cola. Wasn't brave enough yet just to talk to you. Not a smooth talker under.
All right, a little something special for the WGGGMBUCC. It's a lyrical sculpture in the sand that I carve. This is Flash on the mic, now on the Algarve. From 40 to 60, we are on the attack. If I can just get some vitamin I from my back. Foot on the line, yeah, I'm ready to go. Or did I just pull a muscle? Hold on for a moment. Play it cool, just act like I'm young. Got flicks on my wrist and lyrics on my tongue. 20 more, 10 more years left to go. Tricks from the past and a buttery flow. A little slow off the start, I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. I got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Yeah, I got some dodgy knees. Disc in my hand and the sun in the sky. My dad bod goes jiggle and my hucks they fly. The spirits are rising like a disc on the breeze, going miles out of bounds to the Portuguese seas. I played a point, yeah, I need a sub and a good long soak in an XL tub. Don't need to run anymore, I'm one of 14 handlers. Happy Gilmore this disc like we're all Adam Sandlers. I'm slow off the start, I like to call it brisk. The sunshine glints on my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. We got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Alright, let's finish this off. My 6'2" still works in the bar. I can see from miles. Got drinks on my radar. Portimao party is the place we flee for the friends we see in these great memories. Yeah, I feel the spirit as I pull every sinew. Shatter my knees, yet we're gonna continue. Take this hand, better yet carry me from the beach to the bar, better yet to the sea. I'm slow off the start. I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got none of the pivots, but all of the throws.
WGGMBUCC coming at you from the beaches of Sardinia, Villasimius, Porto Junquio. All the action as Pool B gets into a clash of the undefeateds. Solid Gold, the Canadian outfit, taking on the Yanks Rundown. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside John Dock, bringing the action as Rundown in the Navy tops with the disc. Nounen goes to Mitchell, finds an inside seam, quick give straight back to Nounen, and then Reynolds. Reynolds testing some marks, pops over top to Leanne Nounen, and then Mitchell again. Daryl Nounen to Mitchell. Low pickup there for Ryan Reynolds, and he motions the high release, then moves things over to Ali Mitchell. Nounen with the disc, and a stoppage on the field. Looks to be quickly resolved. Back in play for Nounen. He goes back to Mitchell. We got two Mitchells, two Nounens on the field right now for Rundown. Mitchell leads out. It's hunted down by Ali Mitchell and shreds it in for Brett Mitchell for the goal, showing some speed. Nice first possession for Rundown, Doc.
Yeah, since we've seen solid goal already, I'm going to say this is the most impressive I think a team has looked on the stream so far. That point looked very confident. The wind has picked up a little bit, not as bad as it was at the start of the day, but that looked very easy against another undefeated team. Rundown have already won a game 13-4 against Uncle John's Band, and in the last game where Solid Gold were on here, they beat them on Universe in bit of a weird game maybe with the conditions, but run down there looked very good. I was impressed by that, and I think if this Solid Gold team plays the same way they did in the last game, I think it could be I don't want to say it could be a beatdown, but you never know. But again, I'm sure the Canadians here, given that they're up against the US players, they're going to be there's going to be just that little bit of extra edge that just maybe they might perform a bit better than their average performance when they're up against their neighbours. So let's see what their O-line does here, because their O-line did look very good at times in the last game against Uncle John's band. So let's see what they can do here.
Very good at times and mediocre at times, just the same. They'll be hoping without the wind that they can find that very good as Chris Keith opens things up to Sherry Ross. Ross motions the backhand straight back to Keith and Lauinen. Lauinen again. Crosses the field. Finds middle and is the recipient once more. Inside throw. Keith goes to Carlton. Carlton spins and goes into the backfield for Keith. Keith puts his hands up saying, I got nothing to throw to, before he finds Sherry Ross. Ross to Lauan and the deep throw. Nice pickup. Gets the left hand out. It's got some stickum on and takes the layout grab.
Yeah, great grab there, and I'm glad to see that was a good offensive point by Solid Gold. I think it was better than a lot of the points we saw from them in the last game, and I think that removes a small bit of my worries of maybe this game being a little one-sided. But I think if they can play like this, it did seem like there was a little bit more pressure on the Canadians there, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes there's always going to be sometimes a bit more pressure on one team than the other, but that's a good response to what looked like two pretty easy offensive points. Maybe the Solid Gold one here looked a little bit more difficult, and obviously the grab at the end when you're laying out, you could say it's never the easiest, but I think he could have got it relatively easy as well. He just made sure he got it at the first opportunity. So great start by both these teams, and I think if this is anything to go by, we're in for a really good game here now.
Every great catch comes on the heels of a mediocre throw. That there the case as Powers sends the pull. And a very similar but not identical looking O-line for rundown. Reynolds. And the under comes quickly from Wang. He goes to Mitchell. Mitchell shimmying and shaking, finds Brett Mitchell. Mitchell tests the mark, high release, finds the corner, and Nicole Gislin Bell with the goal.
Yeah, another nice easy O point, and like we said, maybe it's just a case of which team's able to get a bit more luck with the defense here, because so far both, especially rundown, have made it look pretty easy. And again, it can be hard sometimes just to figure out, or sometimes just even catching up, it's hard to react on the sand. So both these teams starting strong. Can't claim to know enough about the history of how many of these teams might have played against each other in former years, as we get our regular question, but with a few compliments thrown in for you there as we continue. But I wish I had a better idea of maybe some grudge matches that used to exist between these teams, because again, Canadians and Americans obviously for the majority of the history of the sport, and maybe one or two other teams thrown in there, these are the two teams you think of when you think about teams that used to be the best.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be a Southern California versus a Eastern Ontario of Canada, an Ottawa, Montreal kind of base versus a San Francisco kind of base. So, these teams, especially back in that day, Phoenix, Goat, Revolver in the open division. Big shot hits, and that's Siebert to Lumley for the goal. Or Lumley, sorry. A very clean reception. Beautiful shot by Siebert.
Yeah, I can only follow up what I've already said. Another clean offensive point. That one a bit cleaner than their first one. They're going to be happy with that one. And again, just because it says great Grandmasters doesn't mean these players don't have speed. He ran that down really quickly and had the composure to jump it in and toe the line on a really nice throw. So great start to this game, and again, this kind of game we were hoping to see in as much as possible. Two competitive teams that have, again, neither of them have lost yet. So
well, I mentioned it in the last game. Seton Siebert, who threw that one, I first met Johnson Green in Guelph and ended up playing on his team that named themselves because the year before they got a bye all the way into a semi or something like that. So they gave an acronym to the team name BYE, and we were the Ballistic Yodeling Earwigs. Was a wild team name. Pretty cool shirt, maroon t-shirt, cotton t-shirt with a silk screen stamp back in the days.
Any little earwig insects?
No numbers on the back. And I think there was a little earwig, but it was a tiny one. It wasn't like it was like
just like the real ones, legit. So they keep it to the story and see if there can be another clean hold here. Might get through a game with no turnovers. You never know.
I have my doubts, but we're there thus far. Brett Mitchell winds up, has Ryan Reynolds, and takes one down. Beautiful. That's 2 in a row that are less than 4 throws. And one end to the other for the scoring part of it all.
Yeah, we might have an hour off after this game before the next one if both these teams keep playing like this. And we get to 13 before a timed half. Really impressive. Great throw, run down again. He did run it down. And yeah, if the wind did pick up a little just before the game, and it made me have my worries that maybe we were going to get back into kind of what we had earlier in the day. But so far the wind playing along with the plan and have given us a nice evening round of games.
Ryan Reynolds catching goals, starring in Marvel films, Deadpool. He's got a great body of work, Ryan Reynolds, in the movie industry. And they happen to be about the same age. This is not that Ryan Reynolds.
Great
But
pull.
a 48-year-old Ryan Reynolds in the movies. This 49-year-old is the pull reception by Solid Gold. Mickael gets it. Oh, and pops out of the hands, and we've got our first turnover of the game. Break chance, and they are moving. And they've given it straight back. The shot for goal bounces off dress. And Solid Gold get their second chance. Powers reaches out for it. Leads forward from Kerbach to Wavrock. I thought Wavrock again in the last game was amongst the best, and Stewart gets himself in good position to smack that way away with the dangling bandana.
Yeah, good job there on the box out to get that position. I thought the Solid Gold player had the position to come down with it, but the American player just gets in there, gives him not a bump, but just boxes out aggressively and gets it. Otherwise would have been a score. And they get another chance here to get a break, and I think on the last one maybe a bit of a one-handed catch. I think 2 hands at this point would have been over, but we'll see if they can get it on the second time of asking.
Run down from their end. Smith gets the gainer. Sent and off target there from the number 7 shirt.
Yeah, I just couldn't get enough hang on that throw. I think I jinxed it in the last point when I said maybe we'll get no turnovers, and now we've had 4 already in this point.
Well, that's what we do best as commentators, Doc, is jinx things. Mickael gets the big gainer on the doorstep,
really?
Offhand to Kerbach for the goal. And that'll tie things at 3s.
Yeah, I'd say if we looked at her resume there, maybe she's a door-to-door salesperson, because that move in front of the end zone there, she made it look very easy. It was a very effective end zone cut there, just turned the defender the wrong way and made that score a lot easier than it otherwise would have been.
Puncher, number 7 on your team.
getting a bit of help here from the rundown team, confirming some of their rosters, as I've noticed 1 or 2 numbers don't match the names I'm seeing on jerseys. So Steph's got all his feedback now, so you were doing a little checking on the numbers.
Yeah, we got I think rundown are going to be disqualified here for poorly rostering. I'm going to have to send this one in. But no, Clayton Hurd wearing a number 7 shirt, rostered as a 17. But at least we've got to the bottom of that one. Ooh, nice pull reception. Love the aggressive nature of going to the disc on the pull, and that was dicey, and both of them hands on one another after that one. Nounen to Mitchell. He gets it forward. Wang. And Ryan Reynolds. He sends it the other way. Belle Isle for the goal. And rundown stay ahead as we keep this game on serve.
Yeah, a little bit of a messy one there. 1 or 2 throws or catches where I think the thrower or the catch could have been a little more executed a little bit better, but sometimes it doesn't matter. If that's your messy points and you're still scoring without turning over, it's a good sign for your team. So again, no breaks yet, but the last point there was some break chances. So far it's rundown with the only effective offensive line if you're looking for perfection so far on the scoreboard. No turns yet. 1 point where both teams had 2 turnovers, but other than that I think every other point has been clean. And the wind picking up the tiniest bit now, but probably not drastic enough that it's going to change too much. But maybe if the players aren't fully aware of the little changes, it could start to lead to a couple more turns. But
Doc, you've got some fans in the chat.
oh,
The youngin' at home.
The little man there. Hopefully, if I'm still playing in this age bracket when I'm that old enough, then maybe we'll end up getting to play together. So, hello, Aaron. Give a shout out to my son, getting ready to go to Poland with his mother and play EUCF in a couple of days. So
that's we'll be keeping our eye on the Toasties as they go with 3SB. But for now, it's solid gold. Far side of the field. Bid takes it away. Mark Driver puts things into 5th. Takes the layout D, and then the throw from Brett Mitchell. He gave a bit too much. Mark Driver kind of wanted it right in the guts.
yeah, it was a very confident high release lefty backhand for your first break opportunity of the game, and sign of confidence though. If you're throwing those, it means you're feeling good about it. And like we said, I did feel the pressure is a little bit more on the solid gold O-line in this game so far.
Lowen sends ambitiously and overshoots.
Almost. I think a tiny bit more weight on that, it actually would have been a fantastic throw. He got it around the poaching male defender, but just couldn't get it to sit long enough for his teammate running in on the back corner. So I really like the idea of it. And
Brett Mitchell brings the disc back to the line, and Driver goes for the big cut, and I think that's what they really wanted. Does get out of trouble with a throw to Ellsworth Yao.
got the player free.
Driver jacks it. That's pitch length nearly, not quite in. Alessi to Mitchell, and in for the goal. Ellsworth Yao makes it 5-3, and that is a break.
Yeah, first break of the game, and I think if you had to guess who you thought it was going to go to, you would have probably said rundown, and they do get it. And now solid goal in a slightly tough spot here, because obviously they're in with a chance at this game from what we've seen so far, but you don't want to give up 2 breaks in a row at this stage, especially with the way the game has looked from the side here. It would feel like if there was another break here that, as much as both these teams have quality, sometimes you can just tell a little shift in a game. You see the signs coming, and then the break comes, and then another one comes, and you kind of realize, okay, this game is just kind of basically going to play out kind of how we thought. Maybe this is the way it goes with a lot of top teams, where there's just a slight edge for one team, and in the end it usually ends up leading to like a 5-point win, where every 5 points one team just wins 5-3. And solid goal here. We'll be wanting to score this one to keep this game in my how I would describe it is if they were to get broken here, it's a pretty bad spot for the rest of the game. But
Yeah.
if they slot it in here, we get back underway normally.
Mickael after the reception to Kerbach. Kerbach eyes upfield. Wavrock has been great on stream thus far. And as I said it, I curse. A smack away by Stewart. And he goes to the knees to pick one up. Now pops it back into the middle. Pletcher to Stewart. Pletcher trying to get around the active mark of Powers. And Pletcher again finds Stewart. Had a lane, didn't take it, goes the other way. And that bounces off the right hand of Belle Isle. Back with Wavrock to Powers. Legs look tired, but then that one nice move by Mickael. There was a chance there, but the throw with too much juice on it.
Yeah, I think it was Powers there. I hear a "go man" as his teammate looks to cut under and then cuts deep, and he slightly overthrows him. I think again, just a bit unfortunate. He couldn't get enough spin on it, and that's that kind of small wind adjustment where I think if he's playing the other way here, that one sits a little bit more. But the slight downwind here and the sand, it's just it's a bit of a tough throw. But again, they were on the same wavelength. Go man, he goes, and slightly overthrown.
Pletcher will start the possession, well, the next possession for Rundown.
Sometimes it's nice to just hear how you don't have to run anymore at this point, is what I hear from one of the Rundown defensive players saying for this point.
Underneath comes Ingersoll, finds Dress, and then Pletcher, far sideline. Jab cut by Stewart, then over the top with a high release backhand. Shovels over to Pletcher. Pletcher motions with the offhand, winds up, gives, and it would have been a contest, but I think both were reading each other more than the disc.
I guess the Rundown feedback was incorrect now. They probably are going to have to run some more in this point.
And Mickael goes to Powers, and we've got a collision on the field. We're going to send the forklift out there, pick him up.
It could be just play on though, because we've seen a couple of collisions today where the players hit the ground and the player didn't stall them, and then they got up and they just played on. And again, I think you'd never see that in
open age brackets.
And
they take their time, and everybody seems to allow the time
like
to be taken.
That's what surprised me. Like, I saw it once and I thought it was funny, and now it's like the third time I've seen it, and I'm like, I mean, what harm? Let the player get up, you know.
Now we are into a substitution.
Okay, I think we've officially stopped here. They will have to tap this one back in.
Wavrock takes the dump. Kapadia to Kerbach. Kerbach gives a few head nods. Great take by Wavrock. And jacks one. Mickael had the left hand to it, but couldn't squeeze it. And another turn. That's a grinder out there right now.
I think an injury call. We're getting the foul call symbol, but I think it's an injury call. Just out of the reach. I actually thought when that was initially thrown that it was just going to run out of, it was just going to be too far, but he got the hand onto it, just unable to hold on to it. So really good bid, and comes off with the injury. I tend to believe players on the sand when they say they got injured from the ground collision. It's sometimes on the grass, I think it's more a pride injury. With that one, I wasn't even expecting it to get near it, so for me there's no pride injury there, just took a bit of a knock.
Yeah, he hit hard. There was a puff of sand that came up upon landing. Pletcher plays give and go, has it again, chucks upfield. Ingersoll gets it forward again, and now back to Pletcher, who finds Ingersoll. High but well taken by Ali Mitchell. Mitchell, eyes upfield. And now to the dump, but nothing to isolate. High stall count, and Siebert gets in the way. He wanted to go for a run, but he saw the help defense and says, all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Siebert waits and then does give it, but it's Ali Mitchell who runs between both and takes it away.
I think we can see from the sideline here the amount of hands that went to the knees on both teams there suggests this has been a tough point for these teams. And I think if you're the O-line here, you don't want to have to go out and play another O-line point after this. So you're really going to be hoping you can get the disc back here and convert this offensive point, because I'm not sure the O-line's going to want to go out again after this one.
Yeah, this could be their last point if it was up to them. Belle Isle gets away forward to Stewart. Back to Belle Isle. Winds up the forehand, gives the backhand. Ingersoll motions, waits. Belle Isle still nothing looking into the end zone. Ingersoll turns upfield, and there is the reply. Ali Mitchell opens up for the goal, and that takes Rundown to a 6-3 lead.
Yeah, I feel like it was that one where we said that was a pretty big point there, and again they get that one, they get the 6-3 lead, and you can see the way the solid goal hands are down on the knees. Their O-lines, well, everyone on the field there a little bit gassed after that point, and I don't think there'll be too many players running back to the line after that point. They'll be looking to take as much of a break as they can maybe before they go on, but here someone from the sideline saying we need a new O-line, and one or two players now running down again, realizing, hey, look, this is a pretty big game here if we can get a win. Finland, the other team in the group, second place last year at the event, so both these teams probably thinking this could be the game if they can win this one that potentially gets them the easier pre-quarter later in the tournament. So maybe they might just both decide, hey, look, this is the one we need to go for. And again, maybe if Rundown win this, they might say, hey, we could take Finland. I haven't seen the Finland team yet, but I imagine given the name is Finland, I'd imagine it's going to be probably pretty close to the team they had last year.
Yeah, we've got some Finnish scouts on the sideline here, making sure they see what's going on.
Get the thumbs up.
Hatsbaka taking it all in, making sure that the scouting report is done. And we've got some people in the chats too. Some commentary on Nounen's throwing. Looks like traveling as he throws with both hands. Shout out Mickael Vasurka, I think, to the Seattle friends. So Rundown representing the West Coast. And solid gold, kick things off. Floats one up and into the hands of Lumley for the goal. Siebert to Lumley connect once again.
Yeah, I could hear the shouts of no backhand there a moment ago from the Rundown player. Backhand gets thrown, and then another one into the corner. Those last two passes were good, and Rundown needed that one again. 6-4, it's always close when it's 1 or 2 points. It's definitely an uphill battle, especially against what I think has been the best team I've seen on the stream so far today. I think maybe in previous games on the stream I would have thought, hey, this team could definitely come back, but this would probably be one of the more difficult comebacks. But again, for them, maybe they're just happy to get that 0 point after the last one, which was so long, and now they get their D-line out there again. Slight downwind, good chance for a break here, a good opportunity, and maybe maybe the Rundown offense, they've been off for a little bit. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, but it has been a couple of minutes before they've been on, so. I like how there seems to be an understanding between the teams as well this week, where they're okay with it going a little bit longer between points.
Nounen takes the disc, finds Reynolds, O-line back out there. Leanne Nounen to Daryl. Puts the disc out behind, then goes back, Nounen to Nounen. High floater. Reynolds has time to run into. Motions the hammer. Then cuts across the field to take Stacy Dress. Dress leads Leanne Nounen. Nounen, high backhand over top of the defender, and second effort. Wang goes up, comes down with the goods, and a nice play for Rundown to take half.
Yeah, defender a little bit frustrated with himself there. He had a bit of an opportunity. He just jumped a little bit too early and then almost had it on the second bit as well. So solid goal. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, but not a massive one. But showing that at times they've gotten the pressure on the Rundown offensive line. So I think they'll take that as the main positive away from this half. It hasn't been all clean points for Rundown. There has been a couple where they've looked a little bit vulnerable, but yeah, we're going to be taking this one into half now, so we'll come back after the break.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And traded to Chen and made for it.
That was absolutely incredible.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
We're back on the beach. WGGMBUCC, the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Thanks for joining us here on ULTI.TV. I'm Stefan Rapazzo, bringing you the action with John Doherty, John Doc, and Solid Gold have their hands full. Second half action, taking on a Rundown team who's starting to look the goods. The more they play, the better they're looking. Solid Gold with the disc in the whites. Wavrock continues to fire lasers and is playing sensationally. Mickael with the goal, but there is a conversation. I suspect that goal's going to be given.
I can hear some shouts of "it doesn't matter" from the Canadians there, and I think the players are going to agree. Okay, and I think they agree that it doesn't matter. But like you said, I think it was Wavrock who said we've obviously seen them a bit more. They've been on 2 streams now, but she seems like one of the better players on this field. So they're Solid Gold are going to need to rely on her a lot on the offensive line to get things done. And maybe if they need some breaks later, they're going to have to drag her across to play a couple of D points, even if it's just to conserve your energy on defense and help us get the disc in when we get the turns. I still don't think we've had a turn by the rundown offensive line yet, so it's going to, I guess, they got to do the hardest, well, it's the hardest part until you do it is getting that first turnover. So every time they're going to come down here with a pull, you feel like it's a good opportunity because it's their every time they do pull, it is their opportunity to do something they haven't done yet, which is to get a turnover against this rundown offensive line. As the fruit buckets pass us, I'm a fan of that. Volunteers walking around with about 10 kilos of chopped up fruit.
Well, we'll talk more about Doc's food preferences as this weekend goes on. I would hate to see if that fruit was passed to him with skin on it from a grocery store, but it's Ryan Reynolds now with the disc to Mitchell. Mitchell leads to Mitchell into the corner, and that's a goal. Brett finds Alley. And run down, go up 8-5 with another one.
Offensive point, almost as sweet as the grapes we're having over here now. But yeah, run down offense again, another clean one, no turns. And it's really just hard to see where Solid Gold are just going to be able to generate these breaks to try and turn this game around. I guess for me now, the more interesting part is can run down and finish the game without a turn by their O-line, which would really really cement them in my eyes from the teams we've seen as being far ahead of everyone else so far. But again, this is the first top 2 seed in their group team we've seen so far, so don't want to read into it too much as we haven't seen the other top or higher seeded teams yet. And like we said before, there's 7 teams returning here who were the top 7 teams last year at the event, so this is the first one we've seen, and if this is anything to go by, the rest could be pretty good as well.
Well, we will see Natsuo next. I'm pretty sure they finished in the top 7. They did get knocked out in a quarterfinal round, but I do think they won their way up into the top 7. And they were the champions the year prior, last time they were here in Sardinia. We see them warming up in the background. Keith with the disc. He goes across. Ross leads forward. Lauan sends deep and taken by Sasha Lufti for the goal. Solid Gold, bring it to 8-5.
I mean, you can't ask for much more from the O-line. The majority of their points have been pretty clean. I think more than half their points they've scored inside maybe 15-20 seconds, and they get their D-line out there again to give them another chance to get that first turnover, which then will give them at least a chance to try and get that first break to claw back. And sometimes you just need that first one. Once you get it, you realize, okay, we can do it, we got this, and it's better to get them later in the game than at the start of the game and make that strong push. So you can see here, we said in the last point they might need to bring 1 or 2 players across, and we see them coming across now. So let's see if they can get that first part. Like you said, get the turn is the hard part.
Wavrock, one that's come over, and correction on the score. That makes it 8-6. It's within 2. It's a nice time to get a break right now, that's for sure. Is there ever a bad time for a break, though?
I guess not. There's better times to get breaks. There's never a bad time to get a break, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair to say. And that does go out of bounds, only just nearly perfect, but a brick offered. Doc, you don't mind a brick?
I'm a fan of bricks. Sometimes I think they should change the rule I was saying earlier. Just maybe not in beach, but on grass. I think if you brick it, it should just be from your brick mark. It's like if you want to go for that big pull, just high risk, high reward. I like that kind. That's how I play in my general game, so why not do it for the bricks as well?
Nounen offers to Mickael and then shoots the forehand. And Mitchell will win the race in. The toe drag. That looks like she's in. They're going to talk about it. We're probably going to get another look here. Everybody has a better perspective, it seems. There's a lot of people giving their perspective.
Including the player here right in front of us, probably.
We'll have a good perspective here. And
looks like they've given it, though.
Oh, I think I would have not given it. I think he just touched the tape as it went out. It was that close, though. I'm happy for them to have given it, but I think if I was being pedantic about that, I'd say he was just out.
Yeah, with the tape, it's the foot under the line as a score, so if you touch the line, it's okay as long as you can get your foot under it. I believe that's how they do it in beach, so I didn't actually see that replay, but if it was close and he had his foot under the line, so I feel like that rule could be somewhat exploited where you could just get the line up on your shins and run an extra meter or two, but if you've got the awareness to do that when it's close, then I think it's okay. So
make sure if you're watching, you do your good deeds and hit that like button. Become a subscriber. And we also have more options for people to be patrons or join as members. YouTube membership, join our channel to get more content, more action, more for the sport. And of course, join us in the chats. Let us know who you're cheering for, where you're watching from, all that good stuff. Solid gold. Siebert shoots from Capadia looking for Lumley, and he's got him to keep it within 2 on a very quick response.
yeah, it feels like every time he catches a goal, it's pretty wide open and there's not much of a chance for the defense. And again, solid goal, just doing what they can here on the O-line, just slotting in some quick offensive points and maximizing their chances of getting some breaks. And we'll see if they drag any players across from the O-line here to the D-line again. The last one, bit of a blown coverage maybe. I think it was just looked a bit too easy for a rundown on the last one, as the male matching player just streaking deep, being chased by the female matching defender. And not sure if they're bringing as many players across this time, but again, every time they just slot in a quick O-point, it does give them the chance to get that first break, first turn. Still don't think we've seen a turn from the rundown O-line. Last one you think maybe it was. I didn't see the replay, so I'm not sure, but it was definitely the closest they've been to a turn.
Here's the pull.
Gets nice one. I think it stayed in bounds. Great pull.
Wang goes to Naunen from his own end zone. Nice low release backhand. Reynolds. Naunen tries to give an immediate option. Mitchell shovels one with nearly 0 rotation, and the next one a bit too far for Belle Isle, and Solid Gold are going to get a break chance.
41 minutes into the game, first turnover by Rundown's O-line. First time the Solid Gold D-line will touch the disc, which you'd argue makes it very unlikely they get the break here, but again, experience on all these teams is not going to be a problem. So
that one from Ross to Lauan. Now Keith underneath. Lufti back to Lauan. And back in Keith. Lufti. Oh, and there's some contact there. Immediately called, immediately accepted.
I should point out the fact also that it's the first time this rundown offense has had to play defense in this game. So maybe at Great Grandmasters, it's the one time where being the team that hasn't played the offense in so long actually helps you, because
fakes the hammer and shovel push into space. Keith takes it. Looks to break, but Reynolds giving a daunting mark. Lauan lays out, and that is a break, but it might be coming back. There's a foul called, And it's the defender on the ground who's called the foul.
My guess is it might end up getting retracted. I don't know how early in the play this foul was. I saw it, but I'm not entirely sure what happened. It looked like maybe he's thinking he got a bit of a shoulder when he was trying to play some physical defense, end up getting a bit of a shoulder.
I mean,
this is going back. I'm not entirely sure.
He was just at the edge of the picture there. I mean, there was some contact. I think he went down quite dramatically. Is
Soccer,
my honest
would we
opinion
say
about
soccer?
it. A flop.
Are we going to call it a Neymar or whatever they call it?
I mean, it had aspects of flopping about it.
He just had to make it clear, I've been fouled. But
I don't
again,
think it affected either, to be very honest, at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I would agree that I don't think it affected, but again, maybe who knows? Who knows? Maybe he got a bit of a bump in the nose we didn't see as well, and don't want to be too harsh on him. He looks like he's a bit flustered on the sideline there, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he just added a little thing, but he also probably did get something in the face.
Popped up and over and in. Keith makes it look easy with that beautiful pop pass over to Capadia, and they score it twice, and that brings them to within one. Big break for Solid Gold.
And it also brings Solid Gold to having the stat of 100% on their conversion rate when they get the turnover, I believe. That was the first time they had the disc, and they slotted in. So you can't ask much more from your D-line's offense. One chance to get a score, and they get it. In fact, they maybe get it twice, you could argue. I feel like maybe I thought there'd be a little more energy after that score. Maybe Great Grandmasters just realized at this stage internally we know that's a big one, but that was a big one. It's the first time this game where they look like they're in with a shot. As we get back underway here.
As they get going. And led forward, Mitchell. Nounen, high, but over the defender, well read by Mitchell. Now to Brett Mitchell. He waits and goes to the steady handler, Nounen. Goes forward, Ali Mitchell. Foot kicks up some sand. Brett Mitchell, 2 hands on it. Finds middle, Reynolds. Looks the backhand, high release, and does find Nounen for the goal. And the response, making it 10-8. Stretch it back to 2.
I gotta feel a small bit for the defender there in the end zone. It seemed every time he covered the open side, the force changed the force to the other way. So he had to guard like 3 open side cuts in a row, and it's only so many times you can get that done. But Rundown not going to make the same mistake twice. They get the score, clean hold this time, and again puts it back in. Puts Solid Gold back in the tough spot where they gotta slot in the row and then get the break chance. I do feel there's a little bit of variance sometimes with the rundown offense as well. I think that time it looked like they had a couple more of the names that you pointed out to me before the game as well. This is a person to watch, and I feel like that the ones they've been slotting in most of the time comfortably, those players have been on, so maybe not such a strict O&D line kind of rotation here for them.
10-8 the score. Getting close to time cap. A few minutes away. And that pull right out of bounds. I would normally say the benefit of the brick, but Doc might say the disadvantage of the brick.
Oh, I still think it's a benefit on grass anyway, in most of it, in certain divisions, or depending on the conditions. But That's why I think it should be brought in. I don't think you should ever be in a position where you tell your team, hey, if we throw a brick, it's good.
Keith leads to Lumley. Lumley goes immediately, and the catch made. What a chase down. Had yourself on the back, Sherry Ross. Well run on the beach.
Yeah, and the solid goal O-line, just another one, just nice clinical offensive point. They've had so many of them in this game, and they're just unfortunate that Rundowns just had one or two more. But again, last time they got their D-line out there after scoring an O-point, they did get that first turn and first break, first time of asking. So can they do it all again now on this point and make this game go right down to the wire potentially? As we hear, there's 2 minutes left. Some confused look from some of the players on the sideline.
Have we had time cap established? Is that what I've just heard?
I think I heard 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So letting the players know if they decide to mess around on this point that time will go.
Well, the wind has chosen to gust back up right now.
As you could see there, you don't have to see that it's bounced that high off sand. 1 point game here, I believe. So big point here.
Huge one.
And the wind really picked up now. Every throw is difficult, and you can
that's
see there.
given away. Thrown for meters, and they get it to about the midway mark, and no one there to catch it. Lumley double shifted.
They do have a couple of their, I would say, power line players on here, so seems like a really good opportunity here for Solid Gold to get this.
Siebert to Wavrock, and a bump on the mark, and a come on kind of response.
Veteran bump on the mark. Back in here, and they do get the break. They get their break, and now we're back.
And they get it back, or do they? Yes, they do indeed.
And we got ourselves a level game here. Game most likely going to be a game to 12 now. Yeah, we hear its time is over, so it seems like it's going to be a game to 12 now. So I think it's finished this at 1, so it looks like a game to 12.
Now the Finnish aren't playing. Doc doesn't like it. You are right.
Players all trying to confirm with the volunteer who's trying to explain it to him. I can understand what he's saying. They seem a bit confused, so. Okay, I think both teams seem to understand the situation now, and their lines are out there, so there's not much they can change now.
No, we're frozen.
As the pull goes up here anyway, so we'll see see what happens here. And apparently we're having some technical difficulties. Not sure if you can hear the sound here, but a hook has gone up. It's been completed for rundown. They've got the disc just outside the brick mark on the far side. Crossfield shot goes up. Misread by 2 players and just out of reach of the rundown player. And Solid Gold going to get a chance here for their third break, and the last 2 chances they've had, they've converted them first time. So hopefully we've got some still got some audio here, and we'll try and give you the radio commentary. But this game, a really big game in the group. Both these teams in with a great chance of topping the group if they can get a win here. And Solid Gold now walking the disc in the front far corner, playing with, it's a slight crosswind, looks like a flick force. Hit the first under, looking for the next pass here, and it looks like a potential hand block was got. Seems like an uncontested foul. And solid gold again. 2 for 2 on the break so far, and this is their third chance here. So can they get it 3 times for 3 of asking?
Lowen goes to Lumley. Siebert claps into one. Looking to center, goes to the backfield.
That's their first D-line turn, and I can see what he's looking for. I just think in these conditions, that's a really tough throw to get that to come back in. He did get it to come back in, but to get it to come back in and to sit for your receiver is a tough one. But in these conditions, it's a pretty good place to turn over, so I don't think they're going to be too worried here. It's just big opportunity still for solid goal here.
From the coffin corner, Brett Mitchell finds Daryl Nounen and now Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds leads to Ali Mitchell, high, and Brett Mitchell takes it on his way down to ground, keeps the right hand up. Mitchell tests and foul accepted.
Good time to get fouled. Good time to get fouled. The stall there was Mountain. Shoots it.
Ryan Reynolds, and Siebert was blind but still read the face well enough to get the D. Watt goes to Lumley. Lowen looks upfield. There's no one there. Lumley goes for a run, and he ambitiously shot. I'm not sure which his target was, but misses both.
I think he was looking for the guy that's been catching every score wide open this game, and I actually think he should have just gone for the flick based on all the shots I've seen to him so far.
Mitchell with the disc. And a foul accepted.
It's really heating up here now in this game. 10-10, game to 12. Might be the game that could end up deciding who tops the group, depending on how the Finland results go.
Reynolds. Plenty of time. Goes to Nounen. Nounen tests the backhand. And a bump. I believe it's on the mark, which is the discussion. Back into play, Nounen. And the timeout called. We're in a tight one here. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more action from the wonderful beaches of Sardinia. We have lost monitor once again, but it might not be a big issue.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And created the and made for it.
That was absolutely incredible.
And Reynolds does take the catch there. Nounen gives a high release, but we might have further discussion on this.
I was saying there, I thought we might miss the score when it was coming back in, and looks like we won't. Looks like there's a call. I'd be very surprised if Hatton gets retracted at this stage of the game. The hands are being waved, the shrugs are being shown, people are walking around. To me, it looked okay. It looked like the players were back in. It looked like it didn't really affect it because it went to the break side, but
Heck of a throw in this wind as well, it must be said.
yeah, they're going to signal it as a goal. So run down with the first break chance here to try and take the game now. 11-10. Game point, first game point of the game. And I think I was surprised the last game with Solid Gold went to Universe, so I'm going to say that this one's probably going to be the same thing. As we have one of the Finland scouts right in front of us taking his notes. Tempted to ask him for a prediction on what he thinks the outcome of their game will be against him, but
Go on, ask him.
he's deep in his notes now. I don't know if he wants to give us a prediction. Which team's the danger here now? Which one do you think's going to cause you the problems? And again, when they have to play Finland later on, what do you predict the score to be now that you've seen a full game?
We have years of history in the same leagues, 2021. Game behind 6 points.
So you've heard it here first. He's predicting a 13-2 victory for Finland over Rundown if they play later. That's, I believe, what I heard.
John Doc putting words in the mouth.
Maybe they heard otherwise. He was pretty close. Well, let's see how this game finishes first.
Wavrock throws into tight coverage, but does get the connection. Powers hits the ground. Barks an instruction, throws to Wavrock. Now Kerbach. Capadia to Mickael. Wavrock, low reception at the knees. Capadia hits the knees and gets it. No slide in the sands. And leads for the end zone and has Mickael for the goal. That leveled things up once again.
And we're going to Universe.
11-11, game to 12.
Windy here now, but I think it's a crosswind that affects both teams equally, so I think it's just a case of which team maybe gets a little bit of fortune here. Run down with the first chance to get it. They're going to start with the disc. That's the only advantage here. You'd imagine it's going to be power lines by both the teams, but let's see who they put out.
Let us know in the chats who you got now that we're on Universe. Will it be Rundown? Will it be Solid Gold? Will you hit the like button? All these questions to be answered. Some more in your control than others, but we'd love to hear it. Doc, you got a winner here?
I'm gonna say I'd be slightly rooting for Solid Gold at this stage, in that I thought after the start and some of the previous games I wasn't sure they'd pull it off, and I think it might create a more interesting end to the group if they were to pull off this win, given both teams still have to play Finland. I think Rundown have maybe looked a bit better in my opinion, but it's Universe now, so anything can happen.
Nounen to Nounen in the backfield. The fake backhand, but then waits and gives. Daryl Nounen gets the lead, and Wang catches a bobbler off the face, and he was very close to the line. I think the sideline from Solid Gold are saying he was in. Which is very spirited on Universe.
Yeah.
But now they are discussing further. I was speculative whether that was in or not. He definitely had it at first. By the time he pressed it to his face, yeah, they're giving it in. It was a close one. Nounen's in the backfield. Lefty backhand on the return, and again, Leon Nounen points with the offhand. Gives again, and another specky. Daryl Nounen to Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds leads with a backhand, hits inside. Working hard, Nounen again. Reynolds well covered, not taken. Wang comes under. Tests. Calls for help. Now a high stall count, gets it off to Nounen. And a call. Do you see the call, Doc?
Not entirely sure what it was, but it looked like there was probably, I'm going to guess it was probably a pick call.
Back in play. Led for Wang. He takes the winner. And that's a Universe Point win. Run down. Get one on Solid Gold. Heck of a match. And that one is in the books.
Yeah, great game there by both teams, especially I think if Solid Gold just had a moment or two in that game where they just dropped maybe 5-minute passage of play where they gave up 1 or 2 breaks that maybe they could have avoided and run down. Basically perfect first half, and then I think their O-line only had like 3 turns all game, and it was just that Solid Gold were able to convert 2 of those as breaks that this ended up being so close. But I mean, when you only have maybe 4 points, 5 points total in the whole game that had turnovers, you have to say it was a pretty good game, especially when the wind picked up at the end. So Solid Gold showing a bit more what they're capable of here maybe than they did in the last game, but really tight game. And with Finland in the mix and having not seen them yet, you never know, there could be some 3-way tie implications, and a 1-point game here means that if it is a 3-way tie, everything is still to play for based on points difference in future games. So exciting group to follow anyway, with three really high level teams in it.
Yeah, we'll be keeping our eye on that and so much more, including the very next game, Natsuo taking on Flash, who will be back on stream. Make sure you stay locked on here at ULTI.TV. For John Doc, I'm Steph Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you all next time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.